Everybody, welcome. My name is Jorge Olson, and today we're going to go over your retail product and how to sell it in retail stores. Again, my name is Jorge Olson. The topic of this webinar is, will your product pass the retail formula test? Is your product meant to retail stores, for retail stores? And a lot of you are online. You can actually chat and ask your questions online. I will answer your questions as we go, and I will answer your questions at the end, depending on the question, depending on how it relates to the presentation. If you have very specific questions on your product, then I will answer it at the end. If your question is, this is my product, this is the name, is it for retail, what can we do with it, then it will wait until the end. But feel free to chat your question, and I will answer it at the end. Once again, my name is Jorge Olson, and you are in the webinar, will your product pass the retail formula test? Before we start, you should know a little bit about me. A lot of you already know me, either in person or you subscribe to one of my groups or newsletters. We have in consumer goods distribution and beverages more than 30,000 subscribers to our newsletter. So maybe you read one of my books, Build Your Beverage Empire, or The Unselfish Guide to Self-Promotion, or my blog. No matter how you got here, welcome. And you probably have a product, or you are probably an investor that is investing in a product, or is investing in the stock of a company through the stock market that has a product. Either way, you are very welcome to the webinar. Let's get started. Is product a real retail product? That's the question. How much will the product sell? Is your product really for retail stores? Is it really for retail sales? Can you put it in convenience stores? Can you put it in supermarkets? We will answer those questions. Did you develop your product the right way? Is your product for sustainable sales, or is your product an impulse product that people will buy once and not again? And finally, we will also explore how you can create a plan, a budget, a strategy, so that your product is non-impulse and it moves into the monthly sales model, where in actuality you already have a product, it's proven, you can sell your company, you're done. Those are the main questions we will answer in the webinar. Let's jump to the formula. Yes, there's actually a formula for retail strategy. We will go over each point separately and specifically. Now, assumptions. We're assuming that you have a distributor, and we'll explore why. Of course, you can also sell directly through warehouse channels, wholesalers. We'll touch on that as well. But mainly a distributor to sell in convenience stores, liquor stores, not only supermarkets and large club stores and pharmacies. Product placement. We'll talk about product placement as it relates to this particular formula. How to get consumers or prospects to test it, to try it, how to get them to buy it, and then finally how to convert it into a real company, which is the latest point of the formula. Now, there's a second step for the formula. This is how you develop your strategy with this retail formula. This is before you go to market. This is how you plan. Now, once you achieve this formula, you move into the second formula, which is scalability. How can you scale your product? How can you make your product from a 1-store, 2-store, 10-store success story into a national distribution, multi-million-dollar exit strategy product? You make it through the customer multiplication formula. You take the original formula that I just showed you, looks very simple, and it is. And then you turn it into a customer multiplication formula, and now you have a concept. You've proven your concept. You can sell your company, not only your product. You reach the pinnacle of the consumer packaged goods world. This is the customer multiplication formula, and we'll go through each point and how it relates to your specific product. What are the different uses of these formulas? Yes, you can use it to create your product, but what else can you do with it? Actually, you would have to do everything with your formula. That simple formula that you saw, yes, selling more products. Everybody wants to sell more products. But maybe you have to show it to stakeholders. Maybe it's the board of directors. Maybe it's your boss. Maybe you're a publicly traded company. You have to prove moving forward your strategy, and this is the formula that you use to prove it. Maybe you are an analyst and you want to analyze a potential product or a potential company. You use this formula to analyze the company in order to invest or do something else for the company or with the company. So the formula is not just for creating a product and selling the product, but you can use it for analysis, for planning, for design, for development, merchandising, and more. These are the different uses for your formula. Okay, retail sales strategy. Now, this actually can be the end of the webinar, where you go into your retail sales strategy, where you actually practice the webinar. You hang up the phone or turn off the computer, go outside and execute what you learned. This is it. This is how you plan it, and I'm putting it in front of you now instead of at the end. So you can take a mental photograph, and then you can apply every slide, every part of the presentation into this strategy. And yes, we'll do each point of the strategy. We will do budgeting for the strategy. We will do a case study for the strategy. And then if you wish, we can do the same strategy with your product so you can see the numbers on how they relate to your specific product, your specific company, or your idea. Let's explore the retail formula first. The first one that you saw. We talked about distributors. Maybe some of you do not want or have distributors. Maybe you will sell through a warehouse to Kroger or Walgreens or CVS or Costco. The formula applies as well, because we're not going to go into signing a distributor in this particular webinar. We will do other webinars on distribution. We have plenty of teleseminars on distributors, jobbers, beverage distributors, food service distributors, on-premise distributors, wholesalers, exporters. We have a lot of it covered already in the website, in blog posts, articles, and teleseminars. So we will not dive into distributors. Now, if you don't have distributors because you have only warehouse programs where you sell directly to retailers, I would recommend that you start signing up distributors. So make sure that your retail price is appropriate to put there a distributor or a wholesaler or a jobber or somebody in between. Now, why do you need distributors if you're selling $10 million already through warehouse programs? Well, because there's a lot of independent convenience stores in the country. And you can probably double your sales by finding these convenience stores, these convenience store distributors, and selling to them. Now, the formula works with or without distributors, because we are focusing today on retailers. But I would encourage you to get distributors, to find the right distributor for the channel, whether you have a beverage or an impulse buy item or a novelty or a houseware or a tool or whatever you have. Sign up the right distributor, and sign up the distributor that you can afford. Maybe you can't afford a large distributor. Start with a small one. Now, I would also recommend that besides having wholesalers, maybe you sell through McLean, Core-Mark, or some other large wholesaler, that you go with direct store delivery distributors. The distributors that provide full service. The distributors that will visit every store, merchandise every store, shake the manager's hand, leave the product, clean the product, and shelf space from your customer, from your competitors. DSD distributors are the way to go. Even if you have national wholesalers, remember they're case or pallet droppers. They don't really sell in service. What else? Now you have a distributor, or you don't because maybe you sell directly. The first step of the formula, after you get the product to the store, is placement. Now, what do I mean by placement? Simple. Put the product in the store. This is an example that you see in front of you of one of it's called Make Me. It's an incredible tasting vitamin C powder made for the refrigerator door and made for the counter. Now, in this particular case, we can go out and place 2,000 of these in 2,000 stores in probably a quarter because we ourselves have the manpower to do it. Maybe you don't, but we'll go into options soon. Let's say that you just want 50 stores. You would go and you would place the product in 50 stores. Now, your product has to be placed correctly. This is very important. If you're using a wholesaler, I can guarantee it will not be placed correctly. If you're using a direct store delivery distributor, chances are it will. Or you can make sure by going to the stores or your staff and merchandising the product. Your product can be at the door. Your product can be at the counter. Your product can be in the refrigerator door, or maybe it can be in racks or stacked on the floor. If you have beverages, you can stack cases on the floor. You can have a rack. If you have counter items, or even if you don't, create counter items. For example, this particular product, and this is the product that you see, it's actually in a suction cup placed on the door, so that when you grab your water, you grab one of these and you dump it into your water, you shake it and you drink it. Now this is the placement that we want. This is a AAA placement for this product, and then we have it in the counter as well. If they allow us, we put a little bit of point of sale material there. This particular product we created internally from scratch, so we know it's done correctly, and that's my next point. Make sure your product is done correctly. The artwork, the point of sale, make sure that people can understand what it is without reading. Pictures. Make sure it has pictures. Placement. Maybe you don't want to be in the refrigerator if you're a beverage because you're competing with people who already have their favorite beverage. So placement is very, very important. Now, we're not going here for inventory. We don't want 10 cases. We don't want 20 cases of product. We just want placement. It doesn't matter if the product is in the back, in the refrigerator door, over here in the back. It's not going to sell there, and they're going to turn it back. They're going to send it back. So we want placement. That's number one. We cannot execute the formula without placement. Now, once we have placement, you need people to try it. Something interesting here. About 75% of the companies that we speak with, and we speak to probably 50 to 100 companies every single week. Companies like your company that have a product or are creating a product. The companies that already have a product and are doing some sort of marketing, about 75% of them spend their whole budget here in the try it category, making sure customers try it, which is great. I love this strategy, but this is the first step to the strategy. And a lot of the people that we speak with finish their strategy here. Don't finish your strategy in the try it category. This is only try it, not buy it. So yes, sampling is important. Telling people about the product in the store is important, but it is not your entire strategy. This is only the third step of the strategy. If people cannot try it, they will not buy it. Even if the barrier of entry is small, $1, $2, $3, people will not spend it just to try it. This is why sampling is important. This is why being in stores, talking to people about your product is important. Maybe they will not spend the $2, $3, $1.50, whatever, just to try your product. But if they taste it and it's good, then they can spend $1 or $2 on it. So try it. It's important, but it is not the end of your strategy. Okay, they put the money out. Now you need to buy it. After somebody tries the product, then you sell it. You can sell it even in the store while you or your sampling team or your sales team is in the store. When we do sampling or when we use these strategies here in stores that we sell, we have a special team that we've been working with for some time. And our team sells product. They place product, number one. They make people try product, number two. And they actually sell product, number three. So they do all three in one. So don't just pay for companies or people that are going to go and give product away. Giving product away is easy. Anybody can give product away. Hire people that can sell the product in the store. If they don't pay for it, they didn't try it. If they don't pay for it, they didn't like it. If somebody says, oh, it's good, and then reaches for the competition, that's bad feedback that you're getting on the product. You should get the right feedback. They tried it, they didn't buy it. 100 people tried it, 30 people bought something else. That's good feedback in the store for you. So this is one of the other things that you must do. Buy it for the first time. Now this is a trial buy. They're buying it once, remember that. Because then the next category is the one up here, monthly. They need to buy it monthly. So they're not going to buy it once. If they buy it once, it's no good to you, it's no good to me, or to anybody else, to the store, to the distributor. The real test is monthly purchases. Until you get to monthly purchases, it is not a real product. Again, if you don't get to monthly purchases, it is not a real product. If you placed it in a distributor, if you placed it in a store, if people tried it, if people bought it once, it is not a real product. Once people go back and buy it over and over again, you have yourself the real deal. Now you can start worrying about the next step of the formula, multiplication, because now you have a real product. Now there's promotion, there's marketing that you can do for each one, there's a budget that you need for each one, for each step. Depending on how fast you want to grow, depending on how many stores, is the type of budget that you will use. Remember, monthly purchase is the name of the game. And remember also, it's not monthly purchase just for the store. They have to sell it through. It's for the consumer. You need the consumer to buy it. Multiplication. Okay, you have a store and you have multiple people buying in one store, or 10 stores, or 50 stores, or whatever your proof of concept is for the stores. Now what? Now you scale. How do you make it big? How many stores do you want? Let's say that you want 500 stores in a particular territory. Now, listen that I'm going back to territory. This is where the distributors are very handy. If you're selling only through warehouse programs, you cannot execute every single strategy because your stores are too far apart. If you only sell to Walgreens, okay, they have thousands of stores, that's great, but you cannot do proper promotion if you don't have saturation geographically. Who can help you achieve saturation? Distributors. This is why in the beginning I said I recommend that you have direct store delivery distributors. Now, why direct store delivery? You got it because they stay in a territory. They stay in a city. They stay in a metro area. So one distributor can visit 500 stores, 1,000 stores, 2,000, maybe even 4,000. If you go with large distributors, let's say a Budweiser Miller distributor, they probably have every single account, restaurants and other on-premise accounts and retail in the territory. 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 if it's a city the size of my city, San Diego, California. It's about 4,000 accounts. That's a lot of accounts. But let's say that you want 500. Now, if you're a smaller distributor, it can have 50 accounts, 100 accounts. It could be a jobber or some specialty distributor, depending on what you're selling. So, number of stores. How many stores do you want, and how many stores per month can you get? Let's say that you want 500 stores, and that you have a goal of reaching them in 3 months in one territory. So going and selling to a supermarket doesn't count. That's easy. You need saturation. So you need to get them in one territory, in your city, in your town. 500 stores, 3 months. Now, how many new customers do you want per month? So in each store, how many customers can you place? Do you want one customer per store? So if you sell, if you're making $1 yourself on the wholesale end, you're making $1 a month. Well, that's not good. How about a case? And you're making $24. Well, that's better. If you're making $24, you have 1,000 stores, it's $24,000. You have 500 stores, it's $12,000, etc. And then you increase it so that you can make on your sales, not the retail sales or the retailer sales or the distributor sales, but on your end, you're selling a gross wholesale of, let's say, $75,000 to $200,000 per territory, per city. You have to know how many customers you will need per store to achieve this. This is very important. Usually just to stay in the store, this sounds incredible, but to stay in one store without them kicking you out, you only need 3 customers. That's it, 3 customers. If you get 3 customers, you'll stay in that store forever. But you have to make those 3 customers buy every month. That's the key. Number of new customers. Once you have the new customers, they just have to buy every month. That's it. So if you get 3 customers, get them to buy every month. If they bought the product because you were there giving away a T-shirt, that doesn't count. If they come next month and they buy the product with no T-shirt, that counts. Repeat sales. That's the other step of the formula. This other formula is easy. The multiplication formula is very easy, at least in paper. Okay, Jorge, you say, I got it. Now, how can I put all of that information? How much can I make, and how much do I have to spend to acquire 1 store, 2 stores, 10 stores, 2 clients or customers, end customers, 5 customers, 100 customers? Okay, good question. What is your basic budget? We can get into overhead and we can get into other items, but for this example, let's stick to direct sales and cost of goods. Direct sales and cost of goods. The cost of your product and costs directly associated with selling your product. So how much will it cost to make? How much will it cost to sell? Not how much is your rent, how much is your salary, how much is your car, your miles, or your travel. That's not in this formula. So you see what is in this formula. We have cost of goods, which is your product, point of sale material or POS, commissions, contests. If you have a team, if you have salespeople on the street, that counts. Sampling events, getting people to try it, and advertising to sustain monthly sales. Let's start with an example. How about we say that we have a beverage? In our example, because it's real simple, we'll do an energy drink. The retail cost of your new energy drink is $1.99. Your cost, for our example, cost of goods, what you paid for production, including everything, is 50 cents. Your case count is 24 per case. So your cost per case is $12. You sell it to the distributor. Let's say that you sell it to a distributor, wishful thinking, like the good old days, for $1. So you sell it for $24 like you like the good old days of the energy drinks. You're selling it for $24 a case with a 50% gross margin. Okay, that's our example. We'll need these numbers because we're going to calculate some costs here. Nothing complicated, don't worry, just as it relates to your sales. Cost of product. Okay. You get your distributor. It's a big distributor in a medium-sized metropolitan area, top 10 cities in the United States, let's say, and you start with a campaign where you do buy one, get one free. So you say to the distributor, buy one, get one free, offer buy one, get one free to the stores, and offer buy one, get one free to the consumer. So it goes all the way to the consumer. It's not for the distributor. Okay. Or you can do buy two, get one, buy three, get one. But if you're starting, buy one, get one is probably where you start. So one case, if you give away one case, because they bought two cases, so one buy one, get one, you're spending $12 of your own money. If they bought 6 cases and you have to give them 3 cases, you're spending $36 per store. Now this is important because I want you to learn the formula of cost of acquisition of a store. Remember that? There's going to be a test. Cost of acquisition of a store. How much will it cost you, Mr. Manufacturer, to acquire a store? Well, we're already at $36 and we haven't even started. That's the cost of acquisition of a store. What else? Point of sale material. Yeah, point of sale material is not so expensive. It can be $1 if you want. But it depends what you're offering. It depends on your product, it depends on your branding, and it depends on your budget. If you put a refrigerator, it's not going to be $20. If you put glide rails, you're already at $20. They're so expensive nowadays. Stickers, 50 cents, $1. Posters are $1, $2. So let's say that an average, when you open the store, you put 2 glide rails, maybe, well, not even a rack, but 2 glide rails, a few stickers, and a few things, you're at $20 already. If you put a rack in the store, it can be $100 or $200 just for the rack. But you don't put a rack in every store, so we're going to average it out. The average of point-of-sale material is going to be $20. Now, we got 36 from before, remember? 36. And now we have $20. Okay. Keep a pad, please. Sales commission. What about sales commission? Who gets the sales commission? This is for placement. So this is when you open the store. Remember, we're calculating cost of acquisition of a store. We're not calculating our monthly expenses yet. This is just to get into the market. Cost of acquisition. This is to open the territory. This is for placement. And this particular commission will go to the salespeople of your distributor. What if you don't have a distributor? Get one. Because you can grow exponentially with the distributor. Your distributor can provide 2 salespeople, 20 salespeople, 50 salespeople selling your product. Grow exponentially, get a distributor. Now, how many people work for the distributor? Well, it can be 5, it can be 10. It depends. But let's say that your one formula that I like is to pay, if you're selling beverages, as an example, again, the energy drink, maybe you pay them $2 per case. So for placement, you are at $2 per case. So if they sell 3 cases, you're going to give away 3 cases, and then you're going to pay $6 in commission, right? This goes here. That's for 3 cases. Now, personally, I also do a per store commission. If you open a store, I'll give you $20. If you open a store, I'll give you $3. Depends on how difficult it is to open stores in that territory, how fast you want them open, and what your budget is. If you do a BLIT program with a company, let's say with our company, we would charge $50 to $200, depending on the product, per store to open stores. You can budget a commission that you will pay per store as well to salespeople from your distributor. These are not your salespeople. That's separate. These are your distributor salespeople. Now, for our example, we're paying $6 in the 3 cases and an average of $15 per new store for our total of $21. Plus the other commissions that we're paying, plus the free cases. Plus the POS, plus the free case. Okay, what else? Contests. I like contests. Now, there's a lot of things you can do. I'm sticking to the main ones here, to the ones I've tried, and I can testify personally that they work. What are contests? They can be trips, they can be televisions, they can be movie tickets. You don't have to go all out. If your budget is small, tickets. I've gone on ride-alongs, and my staff, all of my guys have done on ride-alongs where sometimes we give them a Starbucks card or movie card or something that we can afford. And then I've been on other projects where we were giving away a motorcycle. Trips to Las Vegas, very common, and then we meet them at the Max or some other show. Budget. Put a budget together for the trip. Now, why is the trip good or the contest? Because they see it. If you're giving away a TV, they will walk into the warehouse every day. They will see the TV. They see themselves watching their TV. It works. If it's a trip, make sure they have a good time. So it's not a trip where they go by themselves. You go with them. And make sure they have the time of their life. Make sure they go back and tell their buddies, the other salespeople, that they missed the trip. So next year or next quarter, everybody's fighting for the trip. There's a bunch of case studies of companies that only did trips. Amazing case studies, starting with very low budgets and how they got salespeople, bartenders, retail stores, everybody to sell their product. For our example, let's say that we have a budget of $5,000. Let's say that we're going to send several distributors. Now, this is for one territory, remember. If you want to open several territories, you multiply this per territory. This is one territory. $5,000, our goal is to open 500 stores, so we're at $10 per store. Not much when it's per store. What else? Your team. Well, why do I need a team if I have distributors? Well, distributors will not actually go and do all the work, open the stores. You have to help them open stores. And a good employee can open 5, 8, maybe even 10 stores per day on ride-alongs with distributors. It will depend on the product. If you have heavy product like beverages, well, the distributor may only visit 10 accounts or 20 accounts or less per day, so you can't open more than what you visit. If you have smaller product, counter items or something else, they can visit more. They can sell or open more stores. But let's say that you're paying somebody $5,000 a month. Your target for those 3 months, remember that we talked about this, is to open 500 stores. So your cost is $15,000 or $30 per store. So again, we're trying to calculate the cost of acquisition of a store. It's not cheap to have stores. This is why most companies spend $100,000, $200,000 on the product, and they have no stores. Now, you know the formula, go get the stores. Try it. Getting people to try it. Sampling. I like to make people try it with sampling because it's the most inexpensive way of doing it. You can spend a lot of money and do advertising or other contests, but sampling by far is the best for your money. You are, or employees or your team are in the store, speaking with the manager of the store, with the employees of the store, and with the customers, establishing a relationship, telling them privately, one-on-one about the product, convincing them why they should use this product. That's sampling. Try the product. If they cannot taste your product because you sell something that it's not food or beverage, tell them about it. They can try it maybe. If it's a blender in the store, they can try the blender or see how it blends. You can tell about the quality, about the manufacturing. Tell them about it. Okay, What's the budget? Well, you're not going to hit every store with sampling or with in-store promotion. But let's say that you're doing a few stores per day. In this case, 4 stores per day, and you do it for 3 months. Remember, our goal is for 3 months. And you only do it 5 days. So you don't do Mondays, you don't do Tuesdays. You add it all up, and it's going to be $48 per store. Okay. So $48 per store for sampling. What's the damage? Your budget is $166 per store. If you want 500 stores, then you have $83,000. So for $83,000, you opened a territory and you can mix territory. Your job is not done, remember. You opened the territory. Now you have to get these people to buy every month. Don't forget that. We just covered the cost of acquisition of stores in the territory. Yes, you can still open more stores in that territory or more accounts in the territory. Maybe the territory has 2,000 accounts, so you can continue opening accounts. But now you have to worry about maintaining the accounts. You have to worry about selling more into those accounts and getting those customers, those repeat customers. That's the fastest way now of increasing your sales. Remember, it's going to look good when you sell to 500 stores. If you're selling $100, it's a lot of money now that you're selling, right? You're recovering a lot of your investment if you can sell $100 per store in those 3 months. But now, what's after? You need them to go back and buy, because what if your product doesn't turn in 3 months? If your product turns in 3 months, then you're selling $150,000. That's great. But if it doesn't turn, and it turns in 3 months only, then you're only selling $5,000 or $50,000, depending on your price. That's very different. That's a very different number. Okay. So this is your budget for cost of acquisition of the territory. You have penetration. They know who you are. You're selling. Great job. Okay. Let's go back to the original question. Is your product a real retail product? We covered the first part of the formula. We're not going to go into detail for the expansion, because you can figure out how much it's going to cost you for getting the next territory. It's $83,000 if you stick to the formula. What I do want to cover is advertising. We didn't cover it here because we didn't include it in the cost of acquisition. But if you want to maintain the territory, if you want to sell more per territory, if you want that monthly, so you can get into the multiplication of the account, you need something, either another type of promotion, another type of advertising, something monthly. For how long? Well, for as long as you want to sell. Have you seen any Coke commercials lately? How long have they been in business and they still advertise? Whether they grow 0.03% or 3% or minus 3%, they still advertise. They don't go 20, 30, 40%, but they know they have to maintain. You have to do the same. If you want to maintain that monthly customer, budget yourself a monthly advertising or promotional expense. Whether it's $1,000, $10,000, or $100,000 or $1 million per month, you need the monthly to maintain the saturation and to get those customers buying every single month. Beautiful. What do we have now? Let's go back to the formula. So how much will your product sell? Did you do the math? If not, do it. Take a paper, take a pen, Excel, whatever you have, your calculator, and start doing the math. Now, something very important. Make sure your product is not just an impulse buy product. You see here at the bottom, we talked about an impulse buy. Okay, what's an impulse buy product? An impulse buy product is something the customer will buy in the store and will not buy again. It's an impulse. Maybe they're standing in line and you're selling something shiny, and they like shiny objects. So, oh my God, this is shiny. I'm going to buy it. That's an impulse buy. Or maybe you're selling something that has a toy. Maybe it is a beverage with a toy, a candy with a toy, something with a toy. The baby's crying because they want the toy. You buy it. That's an impulse. That's not a sustainable, sellable business model. Don't be an impulse buy. Make sure if you have not produced a product, make sure that you produce a product that's not just an impulse buy, but a sustainable product. If you already developed it, make sure that you have the budget to take it out of the impulse buy category and put it into the monthly category. Because if your goal is to sell the business, to sell the brand, you need monthly buyers, not just accounts, but monthly buyers. So impulse is not your friend in this case. Sure, they'll buy once, but who cares, right? You don't want once. So again, sustainable sales, that's what you want. Make sure that you develop a product for sustainable sales. So now you know if your product is good for retail or not. Don't just say yes just because you love your product. Do the formula. Now, if you don't have the budget to acquire those stores, don't acquire those stores. If you only have $83,000 and that's your whole budget, it's not enough. Because remember, you still need the budget for the sustainable sales. Over here, sustainable sales. If you remember something from this webinar, remember this. Sustainable sales. Now, what do? Let's say that you only have $83,000 in your budget for sales. Prove the concept and get more money. Don't open 500 stores, open 50 stores. Prove the concept. Spend $10,000 or $8,000, not $83,000. And then take the information, take the sales numbers to investors and raise money so that you can sustain your sales. Well, how do you show it? Well, with this formula, you will show your customers cost of acquisition of a store and how much it will cost to sustain it, and how much you need to sell to continue paying for your advertising. Simple as that. Okay. Recap. This is not only for people that have product or people who are already selling. This is also for stakeholders and for management. When I do analysis for several investment bankers, institutional investors, including some of the top 10 institutional investors in the country. I use the same formula. I don't go into fancy numbers. I use the same formula because if a competitor or the company they're evaluating or the market they're evaluating, if the companies do not stick to this formula, they will not make it. Now, if they do, then I ask them, well, how many stores do you have? What was the size of your test, etc. You can do the same. Now you can ask your questions if you have any. And if you don't want to tell me your questions because you're shy or because you have proprietary information or whatever your reason, it's fine. You can call us. Go to the web. I'll give you the link in a second. Go to the website or websites. Push the contact button or call us on the phone. Schedule a presentation, a webinar, a call, or whatever you need, and go over the formula. Now, you can also talk to us about product development. You can also talk to us about sales and distribution, consulting or mentoring. I do a lot of consulting and mentoring with my clients. I have personal clients for mentoring, executives, entrepreneurs, etc., for branding and marketing. Remember, we are the largest product development and full-service sales and distribution company in the country. So if you need us for something, or if you just have a question, don't spend 20 hours surfing. Just call us and ask us a question. Read it on the blog or read it in one of the books. We'll save you a lot of time and we'll save you a lot of money. Okay. Oh, somebody put the link there on the chat, so you can see the link there. Also, and here's the link over here at the bottom, liquidbrandsmanagement.com, and you push the contact us button. But I always do something with my webinars. If you already have a product or at least a website, and you liked, of course, if you like me or if you like the webinar, even if you didn't like me but you like the webinar, send me a few notes on what you liked. It can be 3 words or it can be 30 words, whatever you want. Now what we do is we take your name and we take your link, so send us your link, and we will plug it. So you help us out, we'll help you out. Now why would you want to plug something with us? Well, simple. We speak on the phone with more than 2,000 distributors per month. And more than 5,000 distributors and retailers visit our websites every month looking for products or looking at the products that we sell. So they will see your link. So give us a testimonial and get a link and get some business done. Now, if you have questions, there's some questions here that I missed. Okay, let me see. Oh, I missed several questions. Okay. The question is, how do you deal with distributors that want retail demand first and retailers want to know about the distributor? That's an excellent question. And actually, that's the first pushback. When you call it, and that's an excellent question. Congratulations, because that means you already spoke with distributors and you already spoke with retailers, because that's actually the first pushback. Okay, let me phrase the question. You call a distributor and they say, I want accounts before I'll take your product. Give me 200 accounts. 200 seems to be the magic number nowadays. So they say, I'll take your product if you give me 200 accounts. And then you go to the accounts and they say, well, who's your distributor? I'm not going to buy from you if I don't like your distributor. So it's the chicken or the egg. What do you do? Well, number one, what you should know is this is a pushback. A lot of things in sales are real. A lot of things are just simple pushbacks. This pushback, we call it the 200 pushback, was developed by distributors to get rid of you quickly, because they get so many calls from so many people that do not have a budget, do not know this formula, do not know how to open stores. They cannot possibly evaluate every single product that they get. This is why I only call my distributors with products that I know can support the distributor. Now, this is something for you. If you don't have a product that you can support with that distributor, get another distributor. Get a distributor that you can support. If you're calling a large distributor and they require 200 stores, and you cannot open 200 stores because it's going to cost you, let's go back, $166 per store, or right? Remember our numbers? And you cannot afford it, that's not the distributor for you. Simple as that. Get another distributor. And the distributor may be a jobber or somebody, here's my number, or somebody that does not require that you spend $166 per store or $40,000 in this case. Now, let's say that you do have the budget and you do want to open the stores. Chances are, if you have the budget, they will take your product, because this is more of a budget issue than a store issue. Now, let's say that both are incorrect and they really want the stores. You go and you open the stores. You go and you open the stores and you say, I will open the store and distributor XYZ will bring the product. Here's his phone number. So the person who told you, give him their phone number, leave the product, sell it, and then the distributor can take the reorders for you. That's a strategy. Another strategy is open chains. Open chains in that particular territory. They can be local chains, they can be national chains, but open chains in that particular territory. If you open chains, the distributor will also take your product even if you don't have 200 stores. So that's another thing that you can do. Okay. Let me see. Ask away. If you have questions, right now is the time. And you can, again, you can chat. You have If you're with us, I see some people are on the phone and some people are online. If you are online, you can chat your question to me. I have another question here. Let's see. Okay, we have a potential invest here into a new product. How can I reduce risk? I love it. I'm loving these questions. That's an excellent question. I am all about reducing risk. And when I consult with investors, I go through a simple formula. Number one, you're in love with the product, get a divorce. So don't just love the product. Do a test. Now, I don't know the details of the investment, but let's break it into potential investments. One can be you have a business plan. So your entrepreneur does not have a product. That's one. Number two, your entrepreneur has a product but no sales. Number three, your entrepreneur has some sales. And number four, your entrepreneur already has distribution in let's say at least 2 or 3 territories or a couple of hundred stores. And I'll go through the different scenarios for your investment. Let's say that you have a business plan only. And by the way, you can chat me your situation and I'll answer it specifically, but I'll go into the scenarios anyway. Let's say you have a business plan. If you have a business plan, the numbers really don't matter that much because it's Excel, right? Anybody can put numbers in Excel. You have to go by the management team. The risk that you take is people. You're taking a risk on people, not on product. No matter what, you're taking a risk on people, right? No matter what you do, you're taking a risk on people. But if you don't have a product, especially you're taking a risk on people because you cannot substitute these people. If you already have a product or a business, maybe you can hire somebody to run the business. If there's no business yet, it's 100% people. Speak with them. Get them to speak with somebody. I get on calls with investors and their entrepreneurs all the time. I belong to several venture groups, venture capital and angel groups, and they call me in when they're evaluating consumer packaged goods or beverages, so I can speak with entrepreneurs. And by the way, Tatiana, guess what I asked? I asked about the formula. 99% don't know how many stores they want, how many stores they need, or what's the cost of acquisition of their store. So that's important, cost of acquisition of a store and how many stores you need. Now let's say that they have a product now but no sales. Well, don't fund them to go get 1 million stores or $1 million in sales. Fund them for proof of concept for the 50 stores. Remember this product I told you at the top, the product that we're testing? Well, we already tested it. But the product that we tested over here, the vitamins, we already did it. So we did it your way. We reduced risk. And the way we did it was by testing. And we tested not only in independents, we actually tested in national chains as well to see if it was going to be accepted, number one, this product. And then number two, to see if it would sell. So we reduced risk ourselves by placing product in stores, doing the test that I'm talking about, not the 500 stores, but the 50, 100 stores, testing the product. Do people like it? Do people want more of it? Do we have additional purchase orders, or did we only sell it once? This particular one, it passed all the tests, so make sure your product passes that test as well. Once you go through proof of concept, then you can invest the big bucks because it's the formula. They can roll it, or at least they can roll it into one territory, and then the second territory, and then the third territory, etc. Okay, we have another question here. What is the investment for advertising, marketing, and shipping from Arthur? To large accounts. Well, Arthur, it depends if the large account is a large single account, like one supermarket, or if it's a Kroger or a Walgreens or a Costco or something with thousands of accounts. It does depend. It also depends if the allowance is one that you have to give off or in zloty. So if you have to give it off invoice, or if you have to give it in zloty. If you have to give it off invoice, you don't have a lot of choices. They will tell you how much to give directly to the retailer. Now, what I would recommend is that you have a voice in the budget. So don't just give them, but actually have a voice in your budget so that you can be part of the conversation and part of where you're spending your money. So yes, allowances are great, especially to get your product into the store. But a lot of times it's just money in the pocket of the distributor or the retailer. So make sure that you handle the marketing as much as you can. Now for shipping, it can be different because you might have a pickup price and a delivered price. Again, it varies. Calculate your shipping and just give them your price and shipping as the allowance. And for them, it'll be a steal because they probably have their own trucks. Okay. Now, advertising, you need a budget, and your budget has to be, at first, something from your business plan, and then going forward, a percentage of sales, depending on how much you want to grow. So there's a formula for advertising. That's a whole webinar, though. But you can call the office, and they can walk you through that. Okay, we have a few more questions. We have an entrepreneur here, and they want self-distribution. They want to distribute their own product, and they have their own budget already. Now, it also depends if they have, if they're manufacturing their own product. So I see your budget, James. I see what you're doing. But it's also important to know if your budget covers marketing or if this includes a product in the warehouse, or if you're going to buy product, or if you already own product and you already have product in the warehouse. But let me give you the single most important piece of advice for self-distribution. And this is for everybody because everybody can do self-distribution. If you're doing self-distribution, and by the way, I've owned distribution companies both in the U.S. and in Mexico, the most important thing that you should know for self-distribution is store drop. How much are you selling per store? And it is difficult to make money with a single product, your own product, with self-distribution because you cannot get to the right number. Let's say that you need to get to $100 per store, and you're making, if it's your own product, let's say that you're making $50 to $75 per store. Well, if you get to that level and you visit the stores every month, well, you can have a decent, you have a decent business. You're selling $100 per store. Maybe you sell it to 20 stores a day. So you're collecting in cash $2,000 a day. That's not bad. And maybe you're making $1,000 a day. Now, to get to $100 per store per day, not easy. If you have a single product, very hard. Probably $20 is more likely. $50 is a stretch. If you have 10 products, 20 products, yeah, you can do that. And this is why most distributors have a whole portfolio of products because they need that store drop. So James, number one thing, you have to make sure that you can reach your drop. $100, I would go for $100 a drop. Don't just look at your budget. It's a good budget, but that tells you nothing. How many stores do you need? And how can you get to $100? And what's next? Are you going to go after a distributor next? Once you're saturated, hire employees? That's very important as well. And yes, I distributed my own product. I developed more than 1,000. That you heard right, more than 1,000 different products, and I sold my products through my own distribution network. That means my trucks and my people to 17,000 stores. So, James, distribution is not easy. It's warehouse. You're the warehouse manager. You're the collections. You're the accounting. You're everything. Yes, you can ensure sales and placement, so that's awesome. But it's a lot of work, and the scalability is not there. So you want to go with the projects that I've done, especially in consumer in brands, I mean, in brands, I end up giving those brands to a distributor and then going after more distributors because I want you to have a scalable business, James, not just a small business. So scalable means you need more people, you need more territory. And let me see, I have another question. Chris, yes. We will provide worksheets so you can fill out the formula. Of course, you saw it, so you can create your own as well. But we do have it because we use it internally. So we use this for all of the financials that we create, all of the business planning that we create for customers. So feel free to just take it or call the office to see how they can help you and walk you through the process as well. And remember, you're going to get an email from me. Also, if you like the webinar, we also have a way that you can get it on video. If you read my book and liked it, Build Your Beverage Empire, you give me a 5-star review on Amazon, and we'll give you the video so you can pause it, take all the data, map it out in your business plan, map it out in your financials, and do whatever you want with the formula. You're welcome to it, and that's easier with the video because you can pause, write, highlight, and do whatever you want. Okay, and then James, if going back to your question, if you know your product, let me know so I can be more specific with the answer as well for your self-distribution. Because I don't know what your product is. It's very different if it's a heavy product like a beverage, or if it's something for the counter. It makes all the difference. Okay, and also another part of the question is financial backing. Ooh, that's another webinar for anything financial or anything that relates to raising capital or getting loans. But the quick answer is, if you have this formula, it will be much easier. If I'm on the other line and I'm representing investors and you're executing this formula, I will tell them, in my opinion, invest in this company. That's the short answer, of course. Okay, I have another question from an investor. Can we apply a formula and change investors' business strategy when going smooth? Absolutely. But of course, one half of your question is strategic, one half legal, and I don't know anything about the legal side. You have to speak with your attorney. Now, from the strategy side, yes, you can do a lot of things to fund companies in different ways, even if you already started funding. A lot of it has to do with acquisition of stores. In Tatiana, I've seen a lot of people spend a lot of money the wrong way, and I think this is why you're asking the question. I think we have that in common. It is absolutely very necessary that you do that and that you put some goals. They don't have to be crazy goals, but you don't want people just blowing money in parties and other things. You want real results. Either if I have a company and maybe the product is not selling like we thought, but they're working every day, getting up early, staying late at night working, opening stores, but the product is not moving, that has a solution. We can do more advertising, more sampling, more promotion. We can find out what the problem is. Is it logistics? Is it placement? But if they're not working, yeah, then we have a big problem. So yes, there's a few things you can do for that. Again, feel free to call the office and discuss specifically. You don't want to put here the specifics on the webinar, but you can go through the specifics with somebody in the team or even with me for your investment instead of writing here numbers on the live webinar. Okay, I have a few. Make sure that I don't skip any questions. And by the way, I'm sorry that we went through the hour, but I see everybody's here, so I'm sure the questions will help everybody. I can't think. This is why I work with different projects all the time. There's no way I can have only good ideas myself. Altogether, we can have a lot of good ideas. Altogether, we can have a lot of good questions. And these are very good, sophisticated questions. So congratulations, you are some smart people here in the webinar. Okay. Let me see. I think I skipped some, but let's go back. Okay, we have another question about sales price. What is the competitive percentage of the sales price that should go to distribution and to advertising? Leonardo, it depends on your brand. There's different formulas. New Age Beverages usually do, once you're up and running, not a startup, but once you're up and running, you can do 30% of sales. So a lot of the companies that are success stories already, some of them are public, some of them already sold. Let's call them the New Age Beverage category of companies. They put 30% of gross sales back directly into distributors in that particular territory. Now, that doesn't work for a startup because you don't have stores. So you cannot put a percentage of anything because you don't have anything. Once you're up and running, after the 3 months, after you captured customers and you're buying monthly, then you can settle on a formula so that the territory is paying for itself and you don't have to put your money into the territory. The territory puts money into the territory on its own. But it will depend on the product. Okay, more questions here? Okay, we have a natural product, and it's selling in the natural sector, so natural food stores, Whole Foods, etc. How can we sell more product? It's a basic question. Okay. Okay. Juan is asking to sell his product into the natural channel. What is better to sell more? Using brokers, distributors, or their own sales team? Juan, you should use all of them. It's a mix. It depends on your budget again. But a typical natural store will have their preferred distributor, Tree of Life or whoever that is, and you have to put the product through that distributor. A lot of brokers have good relationships with these stores already, and then your own sales team will just get you more accounts. They will manage the stores in a territory. Now, word of caution, it is not easy to have salespeople in the natural food because the accounts are so, it's a phone job. You're calling stores, you're calling brokers. You don't have saturation. So sales, direct sales and promotion is not so easy because you don't have saturation. You need to get more stores to have saturation. If your product is only good for those stores, then you need to think of a different strategy and do in-store promotions or do their insert advertising so you can get more stores. Once you have more stores, the beautiful thing about the natural channel is they allow you to do a lot of things in store. You can do racks. You can do educational programs in the store. You can have people there talking about product, even taking phone numbers and emails from people so you can, or addresses so you can send free samples. They allow you to do a lot. So I like that market a lot. You can do plenty of things with that market. And again, if you want more information, you should speak with Eduardo, not with me, because he handles sales in our office. So call the office, speak with Eduardo, and he can tell you what we can do for this particular channel. Okay. We have another question. For a 20-ounce juice beverage, it's a bottle, and the next step is to sign a distributor. Okay, his town is too small, and let's see. Okay, so James, you have to follow the formula, James. But if you need a distributor first, if you don't have the funding to go with a large distributor, a Miller House, a Budweiser House, for your beverage, then you should find a smaller distributor. If you have saturation in your town, you should move to the next town. If you don't have saturation in your town, you should find a small distributor in your town to take the product. The first one is the most difficult, but then the second one you can tell them to speak with the first one, and that helps a lot. So that's what I recommend. If you don't have the funding to go after the Miller, Budweiser, or Miller Coors Budweiser distributors, don't go after them. Go after smaller ones, get your product approved by the concept, and then get the funding that you need. And this is very important for everybody. A lot of people have a little bit of production, and then they want to go and sell, and they really don't have the funding to sell, because even if you put it in the store, the product is not. Listen, I haven't seen a product yet that sells itself. Simple as that. I haven't seen it yet. And if it does in one store or in 10 stores, not in 10,000 stores. Scalable is 10,000 stores, not 10. Get the funding. You already did the work. Now get the funding so you can have more fun and grow your company. Okay. Good. I agree, Jim. Do a small run. Do it not by gallons, but by cases. 2,000 cases is a lot, by the way. If you can do less, do less. And improve the concept. Do your business plan. Go get some funding. Absolutely. Book. If you're looking for new products and you wanna learn something behind the scenes, get the book in Kindle. I lowered it dramatically so that more people can read it. It's $2.99. So if you don't feel you're gonna get 2 years of your learning curve, I will give you your money back and you can keep the book. You will save $100,000 and shave 2 years from your learning curve for $2.99. Go to Amazon, under my name, Jorge Orson, and get the book. I also have Deal Flow for investors. So join my Deal Flow. Go to my personal website, which is jorgeorson.com, and join the Deal Flow email, or call the office and tell them what are you looking for in investment. Remember, we also deal with a lot of companies, so we can tell you the companies that we already screened, so that you can at least know that somebody that knows what they're doing already spoke with them. So make sure that you call the office, tell them, speak with Eduardo, and tell Eduardo what you're looking for, what type of product you're looking for, what is the amount you want to invest, and we can tell you the companies that we're working with right now. But then we will keep you on the Deal Flow email where we have a company that we like and is looking for investment. We send you an email so you can look at it and evaluate it on your own with your team. So it's a great way of collaboration. And we have more than 11,000 people in our venture capital workflow group. So we have quite a few that are benefiting from this and collaborating. So make sure that you join at the website, and also call the office, because we have a few projects at the moment that funding. So that's something good. Oh my God, you must go. Now go to sleep then. Diana, go to sleep, and and then send an email. Right here it's 3:15. For you it's 2:15. Go to sleep. No, I'm kidding. Let's see. We have. We're going to have another webinar, by the way. We're going to have a few webinars. We're going to have a webinar on how to create. This is next week. How to create a best selling proposition for your product and a best value proposition for your product. Don't miss that, because Besides sales, you want to create a product that is unique and that you can sell the product and the company. So avoid copycat product. And I will teach you that you are probably doing the wrong research for your product. I will teach you how to do the right research to see if your product is really a unique idea or a copycat product. It is probably a copycat product. So don't miss it. It's next week. And then we're also going to have a guest, which is one of the directors of 5 Hour Energy, for one of our next webinars to talk about their strategy, how they sell, and how to put your product not only nationally but internationally like they're doing. Incredible success story. I worked with them closely on a project for Mexico, and I'm good friends with Rob, who will join us probably in 2 weeks. So you don't want to miss that either. That's going to be a good one. Let me see. Questions left here. I want to make sure everybody gets their questions asked. It's very important that everybody gets the most from these webinars. Yes, then we work with Food Labs. We are a full-service product development company, so we handle everything, not only from the lab perspective, but even before you go to the lab. So we do reverse engineering on your idea. We start with your consumer and we move backwards. And by the way, there's a video that you can look at on beverage development. It's about a 1-hour video on how you should develop your beverage. And this is what we do. We take your idea, then we find the perfect consumer for your idea, and work backwards to find the perfect distributor, the perfect retailer, the perfect formula, perfect packaging. And yes, we handle formulation, packaging, labeling, artwork, branding, research, and we also speak with a lot of distributors and retailers, so we have an insight of what you're looking for, and that always helps us come up with good ideas for products. So yeah, you can call the office and schedule either a beverage development webinar, a one-on-one, or just a conference with one of our project managers that specializes on development. Okay. Now, if what you can do also, if you can just email, you can just go to the contact page, you can call, or you can just text here your phone and your name, or just your phone. I have your name here, and then I'll just forward your phone to somebody who call you, whatever you want to do. Either call, email, go through the contact form. You're welcome to do it. Here to the right of the webinar, you see the contact form that I'm highlighting right now. Just go to liquidbrandsmanagement.com, and you can click contact us or dial the number and schedule a one-on-one. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Have you ever seen a beverage line that flew off the shelf without major dollars in the beginning? No, I have not. Not fly off the shelf. No, I have not seen any product, beverage or otherwise, that flies off the shelf. Nothing, never. Now, I have seen products that have great PR, free PR and publicity, and flies off the shelf. Yes, I have seen that. But a product with absolutely no promotion whatsoever, I have never seen it. I have seen some very skilled people get a lot of advertising, free promotion, for the product, plugs in newspapers, magazines, and then of course that drives traffic to stores. You have seen these products as well. A good example, before it went big, Red, the promotion for Red, they were on Oprah, they were all over the place for clothing for money that goes to Africa and for AIDS, as I can remember correctly. Products flew like crazy off the shelf, but it was promotion, and they had some heavy duty people backing it like Bono. So no promotion whatsoever. No, you need something. You need something. Even the best, what I consider the best products in the world, did not fly off the shelf. Okay. And see, somebody here, Terry, is developing an energy drink. Terry, what I would recommend is that before you proceed, you take the next webinar, which is on your value proposition. Drinks are copycats. You need a best-selling, to create a value proposition, either in your product, taste, ingredients doesn't count, label doesn't count. It can be distribution. It can be something spectacular that your drink does. It can be a discovery or something patented. We'll go through the details next week. So don't develop it without seeing that webinar, because it's especially for your type of product. And then make sure that you know what it takes and the budget that it takes to sell an energy drink, because it is much different from the rest. And again, you can call Eduardo at the office. Eduardo has placed himself personally energy drinks in thousands of stores, not just through distributors, but himself walking into the store. So make sure you call him and you talk with them about your product and your ideas. That's for Terry and her energy drink. And I see no more questions. I hope I didn't skip anybody's questions. If I did, write it again and I will answer it. Thank you for sticking around. We went 22 minutes after. If you have more questions, if I missed something, if in the middle of the night you wake up and you have a question, you can email us, you can call the office, or you can ask. If you're shy, you can ask us through chat next week in the webinar. Don't miss it. I promise it'll be worth it, and it'll be an hour like this time. And you're very welcome, everybody. I will see you next week. Thank you much, and bye for now.